You are watching YBR The Sword and the Story, where every night brings to life the fearless tales of those who dared to defy fate, who rose not for glory, but for honor. Tonight, we take you back to a moment when a young warrior, barely out of his youth, made history tremble beneath his feet. This is the story of Tipu Sultan's very first battle, a moment that announced the arrival of a new lion on the battlefield of India. Tipu Sultan's First War. Part 1, The Roar Before the Storm. In the year 1767, the winds across South India carried the scent of war. The East India Company, hungry for power, had tightened its grip over several Indian kingdoms and now looked towards Mysore with ambition in its eyes. But they had underestimated one thing, the fire that burned in the heart of a 17-year-old prince. Tipu Sultan, the son of Sultan Hyder Ali, had trained his entire life for this moment. Swordsmanship, military strategy, and the art of leadership were not just lessons for him, they were his breath. And now, when the British forces, led by General Smith, advanced towards Mysore, Tipu saw not just danger, but destiny knocking at his door. Though Hyder Ali was an experienced commander, he decided it was time for his son to step into the real theater of war. Tipu was entrusted with a force of 2,000 soldiers and given the task of defending a key pass near the town of Puranovo, a route the British needed to cross to reach the heart of Mysore. The British were well equipped, armed with modern cannons, disciplined troops, and the confidence of having defeated many native rulers. But what they didn't have was Tipu's fierce will. The night before battle, Tipu gathered his men. The torches flickered, shadows danced on their determined faces, and Tipu stood before them like a flame. "We may be young," he said, "but the soil beneath our feet is ancient. This land knows the taste of sacrifice, and today it will remember us." His soldiers, mostly in their 20s, nodded. Their hearts beat with fear and pride, but the prince's words had lit something deeper, belief. At dawn, as the first rays of sunlight broke over the hills, the sound of British drums echoed. Tipu had already positioned his men in the hills above the pass, hidden in the trees and rocks. He had studied the terrain carefully and knew that victory would come not through brute force, but with clever strategy. As the British marched forward, Tipu unleashed a rain of arrows and musket fire from above. Taken by surprise, the enemy scrambled for cover, but the terrain offered them little. Then Tipu ordered his cavalry to strike from the sides. The British line began to break. What followed was chaos and glory. Tipu rode into battle not as a commander in the rear, but as a warrior at the front. His sword danced, and every movement was followed by the fall of an enemy. He was fast, fierce, and fearless. General Smith, shocked at the resistance, ordered his cannons forward. But Tipu had expected this. He had positioned explosives in the path of the artillery, buried deep under leaves. As the British wheeled their guns forward, a thunderous explosion halted their advance and shattered their confidence. The young prince had outwitted a trained army. By sunset, the British were forced to retreat. Tipu did not chase them. He stood on the hill, watching their backs, victorious yet composed. His face was calm, but his eyes blazed with a vision of something greater, a free Mysore. That day, the name Tipu was no longer just a prince's title. It became a warning. If this battle scene stirred your soul, like this video and let us know in the comments. Do you think youth is an advantage or a disadvantage in war? Subscribe to YBR The Sword and the Story for more real stories of brave warriors who changed history. Can strategy win over strength? Tell us what you think. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode from the battlefield of time. Have you ever felt underestimated because of your age? Coming up in the next episode. After this victory, Tipu Sultan becomes a rising legend in the eyes of both friends and foes. But glory brings enemies. In the next episode, we will witness how the British retaliated with a secret plan to crush this teenage lion, and how Tipu, against all odds, saw through their deception. Get ready for part 2, The British Strike Back, Shadows in the Hills, coming soon.